Hey everybody, it's Randy with Carchaeology, and it is time to dive into the Patriot and start fixing some of the stuff that's wrong with it. Number one is this hole right here. So my neighbor Ben, the fabricator's on his way. We're going to see what he can do with that.
Get some sort of like a pattern.
Well, I've got some cardboard and stuff. You can, cut a pattern there. It'd probably be better if you did the pattern so you're happy with it rather than me. And then if you've got some sheet metal, I love the idea of putting the lock on this side where it was before, and
Just
some
keep it
little
original
tabs that hold it there on the back side. So you just tuck it down in, lock it down, and hopefully it doesn't fly off.
That sounds good.
Hopefully.
Yep. Let me get, I was thinking of maybe get some wax paper that you can see through.
Sure.
And then you can kind of, like that,
Yeah.
that wax paper for making sandwiches or whatever.
Yeah,
you
no,
can
that's
lay
a
a
great
whole sheet
idea.
out and see through it, and then you can actually just do a dotted line all the way around the perimeter of here, and then I can duplicate that and then roll it,
Amazing.
make it fit.
Cool.
There's a radius there to that corner. Does this thing run?
We haven't tried it yet.
Oh. So it's a diamond in the rough.
Well, I don't know if you'd call it a diamond. Some sort of galactic sapphire, perhaps, but I don't know about a diamond.
A galactic sapphire. Is that another version of...
It is definitely a precious stone, this
Yes,
one.
it's very precious.
Very precious. My precious.
My precious.
There you go. It's fixed.
It's done.
I'll just paint the paper blue. We'll be set.
Yep. Get some caulking and glue it on there, and it's good to go.
With Ben working on the replacement hatch, I want to spend some time working on the paint finish here and see if I can get some of this blue color to come back. Now I've hit one little spot here on the corner here with a little 400 grit sandpaper, and lo and behold, there's actually some decent color underneath there. I think if I color sand this whole thing, get down through this nasty muck to that color, I could probably buff that up and get it at least fairly close to that right there. And the hatch is kind of a different blue there. I don't know. I'll give it a try. I'll see how close we can get that color to come out to its original color. I think overall it's going to look a lot better. At least I hope it will. Because some of the stuff is really nasty. If you look at that surface there, it's really cracked. It's really foul. It almost looks like there's moss on it. Yet it was stored indoors in a real dry climate. So it's just years of the sun and who knows what all on there. So I'm going to go after it with a little bit of wet sandpaper and see if we can get some color back. So let's see if we can do this here. Here's a good spot. I'm liking it. All right, I'm going to put the phone down and wear myself out polishing. And I'll show you the result in just a little bit. Okay, I've been sanding like crazy on this for the past few minutes here. Let's wipe it off and see what we get. Not bad. Certainly still some more darkness. I think I can go over this a couple more times. Seems like the material is really thick on here, so I could definitely take some thickness off of there and get some color. And it's definitely looking a lot better than that. So I'm going to keep on going and see if we can get to solid blue. Then I'll bring out the compounds and stuff and try to buff it up. Cleaning up the body on this thing is turning out to be quite a challenge. I mean, as you can see up close here, this is like really thick Lots of whatever going on here. It's really kind of nasty. At first I started out just kind of scrubbing it. That didn't seem to do a whole lot of good. Then I went after it with a 400 grit sandpaper that actually got down to some fairly smooth material down there. There's a lot of paint on this thing, but it's also just downright nasty. It's going to take me forever to do it by hand. So I've been going after it here with the palm sander. I've got a 220 grit on there, which seems a little crazy, but going after it with that is actually getting down to the blue. Then going after it with the 400 grit is getting it to a smooth thing. And then down here with 1,000 grit, and then I'm going to go after it with some polish. It's a pretty aggressive approach. Again, I'm not trying to make a show finish here. I'm just trying to bring that blue color back. And I think it's going to be a successful venture in doing that. It'll be fun to see how good it looks once I really get down to the final polish point. But I'm seeing a difference, certainly from here. Really gnarly, really grungy. We're seeing a little more color here. And then if you can imagine this with a little clear on it or a good polish, and I think we're going to be looking good. Okay, I've gone down this side with the sander as well as some 400 grit. I got it wet and it's looking fantastic. It's starting to dry here a little bit. I'm now going to go over it with a 1000 grit and then go after it with the buffer and see if we can get some shine out of this thing. But I'm already seeing color and I love that. It looks so much better, a little shiny rather than swampy green. Okay, went over this side with the 1000 grit. It's looking a little bit smoother. Definitely seeing a little more color. I'm gonna try getting the buffer out here and going after it and see what we get. All right, I'm wearing myself out, but look at this. It is actually starting to shine. I can see a bit of a reflection in this bad boy, and I am absolutely amazed. I mean, it was so gnarly, scruffy, scuzzy. I didn't think I could ever get a shine out of it. It's certainly not perfect, but it's a massive improvement over what I started with. Now I need to get to the other side there. I need to go get some more sandpaper and some more polish and things like that. There's still a little bit of dirt and grime and stuff in that paint. I don't know exactly how far I want to go with it. But looking at the overall finish here, this is looking so much better. Definitely much more presentable. And once the rest of it's cleaned up, I think it's going to be a pretty neat piece. Okay, day 2 of detailing. Let's see how far around the Patriot I can get today. Things are coming along fairly well. You can see there's actually a bit of shine down this side, which I'm really super excited about. You can see a lot more of the color. I've got the windscreen cleaned up a little bit on the canopy there. Overall, I think it's looking pretty good, but I've got to get over onto this side here and do some of the same action that I've been doing. I picked up some more materials and stuff down at Home Depot last night so I can continue the sanding and polishing and hopefully get this side done. And then maybe I'll dive into the interior or maybe the engine compartment. We'll see. Let's follow along. The paint is so thick on this, and this gnarly stuff on the top is so bad. I'm actually going after it with a 220 grit sandpaper here to cut through to actually get to blue. And I've been working on it hard, and I have not broken through the blue at all. So I know that there are so many layers of paint on this, which I'm thankful for, because I might actually get some consistent color out of it after I buff it up. Okay, I've gone over the whole thing with the DA and both some 220 as well as 320. Now I'm going to go after it by hand with a 400 grit, try to smooth the thing out, and then I'll go after it with 1000 grit and then start polishing. But already out here in the sun, you can see some color, which is great. It's going to be fun to watch it shine. I did get a little heavy in one spot, and I think I got a little light spot here. We'll see how it polishes out. See what it looks like. Again, I'm not trying to make it perfect, just trying to make it better. 400 grit done. Now going with 1,000 grit. 1,000 grit done. She looks beautiful wet, doesn't she? Time for 1,500.
On the corners. Just
I like meat.
And I don't know. See.
Oh, there you go. Those little tabs are killer. That's cool.
So it's got a little bit of a radius there.
Let's see how close it is.
Like about 5/8 underneath.
Totally awesome, dude.
Let's see. Drum roll, please.
Drum roll, please.
That's pretty close.
Yeah, it is. It's getting pretty close. I mean,
This
maybe
is like
a little,
on.
little trim here on this.
Yeah. And this needs to go
That
down.
needs to be a little
And probably a
flatter.
little bit more off of here. And we can,
Dude, that's looking great though. That's going to be
close.
awesome. A little trimming and a little flattening right there.
it's
And
kind of hard to get it
I
exactly.
think we're on it. Well, without having it there,
Yeah.
I mean, damn.
So
I'm working on trying to get a final finish on here. On this side, yesterday I put a little wax in there, and you can see that the wax is working its way into all those little cracks, and it's making it look, well, you know, quite frosty. And it's a real porous finish, unfortunately. So on this side, I just hit it with a little bit of furniture polish, and the color is much deeper. So I think I'm going to go after this side with that as well. I've got this stuff here, Howard Feed and Wax. It's a wood polish and conditioner. So it's beeswax and orange oil, and it penetrates into that sort of stuff and makes it look a little bit better. So I'll put a little blop on here if it'll let me. There we go. And we'll rub that in. And I think that's going to make a big difference there. You can already see the color coming out. You see a lot more of the metal flake shining. Nice difference between here and there. So I'm going to continue with that. Now, that might not be a best long-term thing, but for a reveal and a fun thing like that, I think just hitting it with some furniture polish is going to be good enough. This thing's not going to be driven out in the weather, obviously. But progress, and it's looking fantastic. I could not be any happier. This thing is really sketchy and scuzzy looking, and it's looking fantastic. I mean, look at that thing. All right, Ben to the rescue. Cranked out this little flap door here. In a few hours, the hole is filled. Thank you, sir.
you're welcome.
So progress is certainly happening here on the Patriot. I am really pleased with the way this thing is coming out. We actually got some color here in the paint, and now I can focus on some of the details. So I have bolted on the canopy now, so it flips open and stays in place. I realized what this little cutout is for, that actually matches up with the shape of the mirror in the event that it opens up a little too far. So some proper thinking there. What I'm attending to now are the wheels. So obviously down here on this front wheel, somebody did a little paint on white wall action there. It's flaking off. It's looking really bad. And then on the rear, it's got these spoke wheel covers that I think are Corvair. The tires are kind of funky cool Daytona Freedom 200s. Those kind of match, and they've got decent tread, but I just don't think those spoke wheel covers match the streamline part of the car, even though it does appear that they've been on there since the 70s. So I found a Baby Moon hubcap, or a smooth chrome cap here. I've popped one of those on there. I've cleaned up the tire a little bit. I painted the outside rim gold so it matches the little stripe there, and I think that looks a lot better. I still need to treat the tire so that it glosses up and get in there and detail everything, but I think that's a vast improvement. And then on this side down here, I've used some stripper and stuff to flake all the paint off of that wheel there. That's actually a little dinky wheel. It's a 6-inch rim, if you can believe it or not. But it's an aircraft landing tire, so it's certainly strong enough to support the weight of this thing. And I think getting that black wall back, get back to the just plain basic tire, I think is going to help an awful lot. So nice progress going on in here. And of course, getting the new door on here is fantastic. I've got to figure out what to do to get that to blend in or at least look proper. And perhaps that ends up being a little tribute spot to Roger. But absolutely thrilled with the progress here. Now, cleaning up the engine compartment, that's going to take a little bit of time, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how it comes out. Looking down at things like the transmission case here, and it's not going to take much to get a little shine out of that stuff. So that's going to be a real enjoyable process, I think, cleaning all of this up. So it has been, well, a while here that I've been polishing this. I've got maybe about half the motor done. As you can see here, this side is still quite scruffy, but over here she is shining up nice. It's also cool to see that down underneath there are more stainless panels that are turned. All of that stuff's going to clean up. I've been in here cleaning up suspension parts and things you can see down in there. I've got to get over to do the other side as well, but that's going to clean up beautiful, much better than the grunge to see some shiny chrome. I know chrome won't get you home, but it looks cool. Definitely got to get into the interior here, clean up all of this metal, get all the muck out of the seats, and shine all of this up here. So that's on the list here to do as well. Why is it that things need to get so messy in order to make something clean? Well, I think I've got it cleaned up pretty darn well. I'm really pleased with the overall result here. There's still some more work to do. Obviously, I've got to repaint or paint the replacement panel that Ben made. We'll see what happens with that. I may do some more polishing on the body at some point. I've got the new hubcaps on there, the rims painted gold to match the little gold stripe. Overall, it's looking pretty tidy. I got about halfway through the engine compartment here. You can see the shiny bit here, looking fantastic. Transmission is cleaned up quite a bit. Still need to get over to that other side. But unfortunately, this rear deck just doesn't match. It was repainted at one point, and it's just a bit too dark. I wish I could find some paint that was closer, maybe blended in or whatever. But again, I'm not doing a full restoration on this thing. I'm merely cleaning it up for an event. I've got the hatch here on it. I've got the interior all cleaned up and looking fantastic. That dash is amazing. The gauges down there, the metalwork that's down there. I polished up the fire extinguisher that was down there, the brass fire extinguisher. Cleaned all the muck out of the buttons of the seat. Polished everything up, even got the hinge polished up along there. All the chrome up here is all looking fantastic. Vacuumed it out. The carpet's still a little scruffy, but it is what it is. In any case, I love that crazy hatch. I sat in there earlier. It is as claustrophobic as you could possibly imagine, but damn, it's cool. So tomorrow, I've got Sebastian coming over. We're going to try to fire this thing up and see if we can make it run and go. And then I will do further cleanup on the exterior and engine. And hopefully follow up with another video of this bad boy on the road. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. Keep on digging them up and driving them. Now I got to clean up this mess.